Welcome along to the fourth round of the Digital Motorsports TCR Cup from the Silverstone National Circuit here in the UK. We've had some fantastic rounds up so far. Last week in Oulton Park, that finish has been replayed so many times across social media between Keith Dempsey, Craig Breen and Jason Cooper. Just an absolutely mental finish. We love seeing it all over again. But we've got another round coming for you now, live from Silverstone National. Myself, Jack and Alan Combs, Sam Fitzpatrick in the box with me, and Sam Lee working hard on cameras. So, Sam, the national circuit, not the full circuit, but still an extremely challenging one for the drivers.
Absolutely, to drive and to race. A lot of long corners around this place, so going to be tricky with these front-wheel drive TCR cars. Of course, going to have to be very patient on the throttle. And whenever we visited this place in the past, it's caused a few issues. It's a quick lap, the laps rattle on by. So we just moved into qualifying. Then 8 minutes these drivers have got, and they can set 3 times in this session, which I think will be too difficult around this 2.6 kilometer track.
Yeah, just under a sub-minute lap around here. Ideally looking for a 59-second lap. That'll be your pole position lap, most likely, as we get a driver warming up the tyres. Tony Stack really putting a burnout to get the tyres up to temperature. That's such a key part of these cars as well, getting the fronts up to temperature. But the Silverstone National Circuit, of course, we're using the old pit straight, and then just coming through Maggots and Beckets, then cutting off to the right-hand side down the Wellington straight into Brooklands, Luffield, and then back on ourselves again. So it's a really quick lap, but again, as we mentioned, the slipstream is going to be a really big part of this as well, Sam.
Yeah, and that move at the end of the back straight going to be very possible, going around the outside and the inside, and of course that's usually the better line, but the outside can work well as well because it turns into the inside for the next corner, as we see a few drivers. Well, look at this. Tyre heat is important, and so they're swerving from side to side. They've got all the time in the world, just trying to generate as much heat as possible. Remember, for a formation lap like this, there's barely any time to warm up the tyres. If you don't warm up the tyres deliberately, it's probably going to be on your fourth quick lap that you actually get them into optimal temperature, and they only get 3 laps. So it's really important, this process, but does look a little bit clumsy out there.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Tony's going to live that one down anytime soon. That's going to get replayed a lot. But Evan Walsh, we look at as he rounds the final corner, what would normally be in the middle of the circuit on the GP circuit. But Evan Walsh begins his lap now, and he heads up towards Copse Corner, which is the first corner for us now. So it's going to be a really tight squeeze coming through there. Tight to the inside, then down towards Maggots and Beckett's, and cutting off to the right-hand side midway through Beckett's. So we'll see how Evan negotiates this now. Of course, the tyres won't be fully up to temperature. They got 3 laps to do this, of course. That was due to driver demand. They said that 2 laps wasn't enough to get the tyres up to temperature, which I think we can totally agree with. So Johnny Adam currently fastest on a 1 minute 7.09. Jordan Kelly behind. So the times are going to be very, very close because of the nature of the circuit. So it's Johnny Adam from Jordan Kelly. Dan Harper is third. We also have Tom Ingram joining us in this race today as well, the BTCC driver, driving in the Toyota Corolla as well, one of the most distinctive cars in the BTCC grid. But he's joining us for the first time today. There he is out on track at the moment, Tom Ingram. And it's been great, Sam, to kind of see all the pro drivers bored at home and getting their nose stuck into sim racing.
Absolutely. I'm just thinking of his accomplice in British touring cars, Ash Sutton, who is mega quick. Well, if there's a silver lining to all of this mess, it is certainly that these real racing drivers can properly commit to this simulated series. Ash Sutton, I know, is one of the fastest drivers in the world in this TCR car, I'm sure. Ingram, maybe a little bit inexperienced. I don't know how much experience he's got in these cars, to be fair. In practice, though, he was pretty quick. He was solidly up in the top 10. Let's see if he can challenge the topper echelons here. Could well see the 1 minute barrier be broke in a bit as he crosses the line, and I don't think Ingram managed to has quite put in that lap yet, but I'm sure he's going to be very strong later on. And of course that racecraft as well, which is so transparent between real life and in the simulator, positioning your car to avoid incidents, and I'm sure Ingram's going to be very impressive at that.
Yeah, for sure. So Jordan Kelly currently on provisional pole, doing a nice job right there. Craig Breen right behind it. We all know what happened to him last week, losing the race win so cruelly on the last corner. But he did get demoted to 16th after a black flag, for instance. Now, we also have two drivers sitting out qualifying for accumulating too many license points on their digital racing licenses, so they will be sitting out. Dan Harper, quickest, 1 minute is .0. So that's a great lap for him. Oisin Walsh pops to second now as we are halfway through qualifying, and a number of drivers will be setting their final laps. So it's Dan Harper from Oisin Walsh, and then Tom Ingram slots into second. So there's the pace from the BTCC driver. He pops into second. Oisin Walsh is now third. Here comes Craig Breen to finish off his lap now. See if he can improve. He's not improving. Yellow across the board right there, and he comes across the line. He goes ninth fastest, 1 minute .4. Doesn't really improve. So it's Tom Ingram, Oisin Walsh, James Holman pops to fourth, Jordan Kelly, Alex Denning, championship leader Keith Dempsey, only seventh on the grid so far, but I think he's got one more lap to go. So right on board with him, just trying to fight his way through. Brooklands right here, trying to not to cut too much of the curves. He will get an off track, so through Luffield as we head towards the line, gently on the power. Obviously, in the interviews, Keith has been going on about how he absolutely despises these cars. So he comes across the line, he's purple in the first sector, middle in it's green, and he comes across the line to, I would imagine, improve his lap. But he can't beat Dan Harper, so it's 100th of a second. He's on the front row for this race, but just not enough. And a great pole position, we think, for Dan Harper, and his second in a row.
Absolutely, and that's when the tyres come into it. You see how close it is. If you can get those tyres maybe a couple of tenths better in the optimal zone, then that's probably 6-7 places on the grid. So Harper, yeah, putting that car probably on pole. Can anyone else improve? Graben is trying to improve. Peter Dempsey is also out on track at the moment. Keith Dempsey's brother, of course. And at the moment, Peter Dempsey is way down the order. I don't actually see him, as in fact he's in 8th position at the moment. And can he improve on this lap? He crosses the line, but yeah, I see he goes about a half a tenth slower on that second attempt. So no improvement there for Peter. We'll be starting in 8th place. Just a few more drivers out on circuit and who are setting legitimate times. One of them is James Holman, who, well, with that reason, I don't think he is going to improve out there. And so they nearly got the grid set. What can Max tell you? If he could get pole position here, that'd be pretty epic.
Yeah, for sure, if he can pull something out of the bag here, but it doesn't look like he's going to improve on 39th place at the moment. But a tenth of a second between the top 5, nearly 3 tenths just between the top 10. So it's all very, very close. A tenth of an improvement will get you so far up the grid here. But Dan Harper's second pole position in a row, unless anybody can pull off a miracle here. Obviously got a terrible getaway last week, which obviously ruined his race for him. Keith Dempsey, of course, didn't quite get the win last week. He got a 3rd place last week. Just behind Craig Breen, but I think he was promoted to second afterwards. He is the championship leader by over 70 points now, because Jason Cooper, the second place man of the championship, is nowhere to be seen today. And it looks like we're coming to the end of qualifying, and it looks like Dan Harper will be on pole position, Keith Dempsey in second, and Tom Ingram, I gotta say, I'm impressed, Sam, 3rd place on the grid.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can say, so this is Ingram's first round of the championship, is it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yeah, so for him to jump in, for anyone to jump into a new championship and be quick off the bat is impressive. Watch out for him. But definitely watch out for him. As long as he can stay with those guys, try to stay in 3rd place off the start, stay in the slipstream of the top 2, and opportunities will open for them. We know Harper and Dempsey will go tooth and nail for the race win. And Ingram's just got to stay close. I think he's got the pace to do that and pick up the pieces. This could be a very good debut race for him.
Yeah, so here we go. Here is the grid for the first race. Dan Harper on pole position by just a single 100th of a second ahead of Keith Dempsey, a championship leader. Tom Ingram starts 3rd. Oisin Walsh is 4th, just 7 thousandths of a second ahead of James Holman, who had another good qualifying. Jordan Kelly in 6th. Alex Denning inside the top 10, 2 thousandths between himself and Alex Denning in 7th. Peter Dempsey in 8th. Adrian Canfield 9th. And Johnny Adam, the Aston Martin factory driver, he starts in 10th. Outside there is Brian McManus, and then behind him is Craig Breen with a better qualifying, and the newly signed VRA Racing driver as well now. Robert Barrable 13th, Paul King 14th, Evan Walsh, Peter McCann, Tony Stack, who we saw binning it, warming his tyres of Shane Rabbit in 18th, Diarmuid Toomey in 19th, Naveed Hussain 20th, Rob Moore, Paolo Breme, Kieran Ewis, the British Formula 4 driver 23rd, Keith Rabbit in 24th on the grid, 7/10 of a second off pole, Olivier Van Herk, Sergio Graben, Simon Ramsire, who was, I believe, the Assetto Corsa champion, so he's now moved to iRacing, Adam Dowling, and then further down the grid, we have a total of 46 drivers, and Wayne Douglas, of course, sitting out qualifying for this one after the penalty accumulation. So we're going to get underway for this first heat, and we're going to see those lights come on right now. Dan Harper on pole, Keith Dempsey next to him. The 5 red lights illuminate in front of the drivers for round 4. And lights out and away we go. Dan Harper nails his start this time. No mistakes from him this time. Towards turn 1, a good start from Oisin Walsh and James Holman as he goes through to turn 1. It's a great start from Dan Harper. No mistakes at all this time. Oisin Walsh ahead of James Holman. Jordan Kelly up to 5th. Alex Denning, Peter Dempsey, Tom Ingram has an absolutely terrible start. He's down to 8th place already. So he's not got his start right at all. Johnny Adam 9th. Brian McManus, Adrian Camfield. And as we come through the first couple of corners, there's a little bit of door bagging going on as Peter Dempsey goes up the inside of Alex Denning. But down the back straight, it's all clean away. Dan Harper did not mess up his start this time with a terrible one for Tom Ingram.
Absolutely, must have just got the launch completely wrong. He's down into 9th place. He's still a little bit offline at the moment. Oh, contact with Adam. He's going to go off the circuit, and that is the 38 as well of Denning as well. He's gone way off the track. Adam gets back on the circuit in about 20th place, but Denning's going to be right at the back. And, oh, that is absolutely terrible for these guys. Seeing how they can recover a little bit later on. But yeah, great start for Harper. Half second clear. Seeing any massive gaps at the moment, but certainly for the top 4 drivers, seems to have made a little bit of a breakaway from John Kelly. Good start for Dempsey, up 2 places. Good start for Barrable as well. He's up 5 places from 1300.
Yeah, really good start from Rob Barrable this time. So we look at Brian McManus, who's now got Craig Breener behind him, Tom Ingram in front of him. So he's sandwiched between two pro drivers here. Is Brian? Let's see how he can negotiate this one. Through down towards the Wellington straight. A little bit of door bang going on there. The car sideways through there. That looked like Tony stacking a little bit sideways there as they come down towards Brooklands for the next time of asking. Looking like they're all sorting it out between themselves there, but still Dan Harper leads. Keith Dempsey 2nd, Oisin Walsh 3rd. Obviously fighting for the win last week, and Oisin unfortunately got put in the tyre wall. Shane Rabbit trying to come around the outside. He's known for trying audacious moves. He gets sideways through there towards Luffield, and he's up the inside. Peter McCann trying to get through there as well. And they come towards lap number 3. And I think it's a 15 lap race / 20 minutes, whatever we reach there first. But Keith Dempsey, fastest man on track at the moment, and is completely setting the pace at the moment.
Yeah, they're just Walsh, half second gap is up to. Dempsey wants to get past quick. Goes to the outside, whatever part of tarmac that the race leader isn't occupying at the moment, and that is a good run for him. That makes sense for these guys just to pull away though. I believe they might be teammates as well, and they do a little bump drafting. Smart from Keith Dempsey. That is a risky move because it's very easy to misjudge it if you're going for it at the end of a straight. And just seeing Johnny Adam, he's going to back up into 14th place. Of course, we saw him go miles off the track at this corner earlier on. There he is. He's up into 13th place now, Johnny Adam. So good pace for him, and still a top 10 perhaps possible. Next up for him is Paul King, a little bit further ahead. Also got Tony Stack and Shane Rabbit battling quite a bit.
Yep, and Peter Dempsey, how about that? A 59.9 on the opening on lap 4. He's flying in 6th place. Fastest man of the top guys at the moment. He's the first one to break in under the 1 minute barrier. We currently we look to Peter Dempsey now, who's on the back of Jordan Kelly and James Holman in 4th. Oisin Walsh also setting the pace in 3rd. Obviously got a terrible run last week out, so he's not there, but there is your top 8 drivers in the line right there. Keith Dempsey is absolutely latched on the back of Dan Harper. Oisin Walsh is close up to them. James Holman running really, really well in 4th place, I must say. Jordan Kelly's 5th. It's a little bit wide from Jordan Kelly this time, and now Peter Dempsey looks up the inside. He finds the space. Can he get on the power earlier? And up ahead there's a problem for Oisin Walsh. He gets passed by James Holman for 3rd place. There's 2 moves in 1 corner there. Peter Dempsey moves to 5th, and James Holman moves to 3rd. Some good moves made there.
great couple of corners for T3. They could occupy the top 4 places very soon, which in a tight race like this, you want to have as many chess pieces in play as possible to get the best possible result at the end. But Dempsey has got a little bit of a gap now to catch up to the drivers ahead. He was actually faster than the race lead. Holman was the fastest man of anyone, a third of a second faster than the lead, as Dempsey just runs a little bit wide. That's going to leave him under pressure from Kelly by the end of this straight. You can just see in the battle box that gap come down to less than 0.2 of a second, seemingly neutralizing there. Kelly perhaps wanting to lift out of it, just stay behind, realize that there's no point in fighting, probably couldn't pull away. Anyway, Kelly's big slide, that's rare for a front wheel drive. That'll take him massively by surprise, I'm sure, and he's going to lose out to Tom Ingram, who's back up into 7th now.
Yeah, a bit of a mistake to endure, but well held, of course. The front wheel drive, just point it where you want to go, floor it and get it back. But Adrian Campfield gains a place to 6th place now. And Jordan Kelly now trying to come back at Tom Ingram here as they've run down the straight. And the fastest lap of the race for Oisin Walsh in 4th place. And these guys are lapping quicker than the leaders. There goes Tom Ingram up the inside to try to hold on to 7th, trying to hold Jordan Kelly behind. There's almost a little bit of contact on the exit there, it looked like, as they try to fight it out. Jordan Kelly's now on the outside line as they run towards Maggots and Beckett's. Is he going to be able to go around the outside here? He's going to have a think about it. Tom holds the inside line. BTCC Racecraft coming through there. But now Jordan Kelly, can he get up the inside? Can he get up underneath Tom Ingram? He tries. He does find the space, but he's going to have to go around the outside of Brooklands here. As he's going to try and get a side draft off him as they come down towards Brooklands for the 6th time of asking. He's on the outside line. Can Jordan Kelly do it? I don't know if he's going to be able to, as Tom Ingram gives him a right old squeeze to the outside there, and he holds on for now. So Tom Ingram holds on to 7th. Jordan Kelly has to hang behind now, but good racing between the two of them.
Yeah, and Ingram dropping in and out there as he's just CK getting out of these guys' way. So that's really tricky for Jordan Kelly with Ingram's connection not absolutely perfect. And so just has to hesitate on occasion. As we have a change for the lead, Keith Dempsey is past Dan Harper, who tries to retaliate straight away. Can he get the inside for turns 2 and 3? No, has these top 3 though falling into the clutch of Walsh just behind. There's almost contact between the top 2 now. I don't think this one is over yet. We've still got a lot of laps to go, but Dempsey feeling as though he wanted to go for that maybe. He wants track position.
Yeah, so you see Tom Ingram going defensive in the background, but Keith's now got to go defensive from Dan Harper. He's trying to come around the outside of Brooklands here. Can he try and hang around the outside? He's going to leave himself vulnerable to James Holman, as Peter Dempsey has made a move, I think, on Oisin Walsh as they go side by side in the background. He has got that done. So Peter Dempsey trying to get up the inside of Oisin Walsh here, who's giving a royal squeeze to the outside there. They're door banging as they go through there, as Peter Dempsey's trying to make up some ground here. He's trying to go around the outside. There's contact through the little kink, and he's on the outside as they move towards Cops. Watch for Dan Harper as well. Watch for James Holman, who's having a great run. There goes Dan Harper up the inside, doing what Keith did to him a lap earlier. Is there going to be contact? No, they just about get through side by side right there. Keith holds on for now. Lap 8 of 15 in this first heat. Remember, so there's 2 heats in this race, and fastest lap from Shane Rabbit. So here we go. Is that now? That's James Holman on the outside. Keith is a bit wide. They go on the grass, and that's going to give Keith a bit of a run as James Holman make contact. Now Peter Dempsey's up the inside of both of them. They're going 3 abreast down the Wellington straight. So we have Dan Harper holding the middle of the road. Oisin Walsh is trying to get up the middle of Peter Dempsey and James Holman as they run down towards Brooklands for the 8th time. Dan Harper's trying to hold on. There is Peter Dempsey looking up the inside. James Holman trying to come around the outside. That's Peter Dempsey trying to go around the outside, excuse me. So Peter Dempsey up to 3rd now, and that's all that has just allowed Keith Dempsey to get himself a bit of breathing room.
Yeah, that was incredible racing. A couple of the T3 guys are getting together in the battle for 2nd place. And look at Campfield now. He's all of a sudden in this battle. It's not so much time. 1.2 seconds or 1 second is the gap between the 2 leaders. This is where Dan Harper's got to show his pace, if he can outpace his teammate. But it's Peter Dempsey who wants to make it a Dempsey 1-2 right behind him. Teammates not absolutely helping one another at the moment, but you can't appreciate that when you're occupying the top positions. You want to help yourself as much as possible. Walsh remaining in 5th, but Campbell's looking very good when he gained 1 second on these guys in the last lap. And Tom Ingram with the fastest lap of the race, 59.7, absolutely flying back in 7th. He'll be back with these guys in any moment.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying with the clean air. Oh, that's Peter Dempsey off the road in Brooklands. He's lost it by the looks of it, so I don't think there was any contact. We didn't see it, but he's gone off the road. He's rejoined just behind Tom Ingram and ahead of Jordan Kelly. He's dropped out of that battle now. That's given Adrian Canfield another position. He's up to 5th now, as now we have a top 5 nose to tail here. Keith Dempsey 59.9 that time by, lapping a little bit quicker than the guys behind. But as you mentioned, Tom Ingram with the fastest lap of the race, he does a 59.8. He's the fastest out of the top 6 at the moment. So they're absolutely flying. So Tom Ingram, is he going to be able to get a gap? He's got to try and keep Dempsey behind as well. Dan Harper's built a small gap over James Holman now as they head through. He's had a little look. He's trying to fend off Oisin Walsh, who's looking really quick behind him. And Oisin has actually got a good run as they come out of Maggots down the Wellington Straight. Tom Ingram having to defend. You can see him just trying to hold Peter Dempsey behind him as well in the background. But now it's still James Holman 3rd, and Adrian Canfield looking up the inside of Oisin Walsh in the background. He's found that space. Can he hold on to that one? Oisin Walsh with the inside line for Luffield. They give each other racing room. Oisin Walsh is going to hold on to that one, I think, unless Adrian Canfield can find the exit. But good defensive from Oisin Walsh right there. He's going to be able to hold on for now, but it's a good run for Canfield as they come out down towards Copse Corner.
Yeah, in the slipstream, but he's not going to be close enough for Copse Corner. I imagine has a little bit of a look down the inside. No chance. And Holman has been able to pull away. Here comes Canfield again. That'll be a 1x for Walsh. He just won't pick up too many of them. I do believe that these drivers get penalties, even get disqualified from the race if they drive off the circuit too many times. And Canfield certainly just hounding him at the moment. But every corner that he's behind is just reducing his chances of getting a podium perhaps later on in the race. As Alex Denning is very slow. He was running much higher than this earlier on in the race. Started up in 7th place, but he's been involved in something down at turn 3.
So we can see what you can see. I'm not seeing anything. Let's see if we can see what you can see, Sam.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't see this one either, but yeah, Denning falling back to 21st position now, and we'll have a few laps now to cover, already trying to get back some places. James Holman now with the fast lap of the race up in the place. Shane Rabbit's also in a battle with Robert Barrable, who been pretty quick today. Barrable actually falling down. He got up to 8th place at one point, I think, but has actually fallen down pretty much all those places that he gained on the opening lap, as Rabbit is going to have to stay behind here. So they come across the pack marker as well, 3 wide into this narrowing turn 3. And Barrable with some good defense. Gonna be a tricky end to him. 3 more laps to go at the end of this one.
Yeah, Shane Rabbit and Rob Barrable going side by side around the outside of Copse Corner. That was brave stuff from him there, but they're still neck and neck down as they come towards Brooklands. He's going to be able to hang around the outside. He tried one earlier, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that. He's trying to get up underneath Rob Barrable here, and not quite able to do it. Gets right on his bumper there, but it's still... Let's have a look at the lap times when we come across the line, because Jordan Kelly managed to steal the fastest lap by a couple of thousandths last time by. So it's 59.8 for the leader, 59.9, 59.8 for Oisin Walsh, and the 59.6 for Adrian Canfield. He's fastest out of a lot of them in the top 5. You can see loads of 1Xs coming up, the little red flashes as they run wide at turn 1. So we look now at Craig Breen and Johnny Adam. That's going to be a really interesting fight. 2 completely different forms of motorsport. Craig, of course, WRC driver. Johnny Adam, a WEC driver. So World Endurance Championship versus World Rally Championship. So Craig, of course, recently took part in the iRacing Invitational. Well, didn't do a bad job there, but now he's back in TCR cars trying to fend off an Aston Martin factory driver. Where else would you get it?
Absolutely. So we might see a move into Luffield. Adam always gone a massive slide again, and moving through then is Johnny Adam past Bream and Walsh, who has to slots in behind now car number 1. A little bit of a gap providing between a few of these drivers. Now Wolf get into the slipstream and overtake into Copse Corner. Again, it's not a big enough braking area, this, and some of the drivers have really been excusing themselves on that turn 1, as Harper is back under pressure from Holman, so keeps on opening that gap to about 0.4 of a second. In fact, it's actually Holman under pressure himself from, but keeps on getting that gap up to 0.4 and almost within a couple of corners. It's back down to nothing. Looks to the inside. Are the 2 teams going to take each other out? They have made contact. Well, it's not too bad for these guys, but that is not ideal for them whatsoever. As dropping down the order is Harper, former race leader. not to help things. Dempsey, glitching out, and sorry, that's Ingram glitching out and goes wide as well and drops back down to 8th place, just as though it looks as though he was going to gain a few places. He's lost out from the pole there.
It's another terrible day for Dan Harper. Obviously, really hard racing with James Holman right there, but that's promoted. Adrian Canfield has drove through it all. He's on the podium now for this heat. He hasn't grabbed the podium at all this year, so in the first heat, it'd be great for him. But here we go, back to the front. We're looking at Dan Harper, Peter Dempsey. We're on the final lap, by the way, as now Dan Harper looks up the inside of Peter Dempsey. Oisin Walsh is there, and Adrian Canfield is right on the back of James Holman as well. So there could be a little battle going to the flag between those guys. Jordan Kelly trying to get up on the back of Dan Harper as well. Keith Dempsey is completely clear out front, by the way. So it's James Holman, Adrian Canfield sits in third, Oisin Walsh. Then now we look at this battle as they try to figure themselves out for this final lap. Who's going to get where as Oisin Walsh runs a touch wide. Peter Dempsey has a little look. We're rounding the final corner. He had to fight for it. A lovely move on Dan Harper earlier on, but it's another win to add to the tally. Keith Dempsey wins Heat Race 1 here at Silverstone National. James Holman with a fantastic second place. Adrian Canfield finishes third. Oisin Walsh, a better race from him, fourth. Peter Dempsey, Dan Harper ends up in 6th, Jordan Kelly, Johnny Adam, Brian McManus in 9th, and Tom Ingram ends up all the way down in 10th. Rob Barwell, Craig Breen, Evan Walsh, Shane Rabbit, Tony Stack, Adam Dowling, Peter McCann. Oh, that looks like that's controversial right there. Dan Harper going into the back of James Holman after the race is finished. I think that might be looked at, Sam.
Yeah, I think so. Not doing a whole lot of good for the back of that Audi RS3. See all the fish that he's bought from the market, clearly. Yeah, so not happy, those guys. That was the battle for second place. Took us down into this corner. It was hard racing from the pair of them. I'm sure the stewards will have a little look at it, but this man, Keith Dempsey, track position on that occasion, it mattered, didn't it? He got himself into the lead. The others started fighting behind him, and that was the break that he needed. Just shows that being in first place is almost always the best place to be, as we are now advancing to warm-up for the final race. There will be a 21 inverted grid, but first up we'll go through the results for this race 1.
Yep, so we weren't sure if the grid was going to be inverted, but we have, so it's our usual. Brilliant. Keith Dempsey wins Heat Race 1 then. James Holman gets his first podium, but potentially, according to Dan Harper, in controversial fashion. We'll find out shortly. Adrian Canfield gets a podium as well in third. Oisin Walsh, Peter Dempsey, Dan Harper ends up 6th. Jordan Kelly, Johnny Adam, Brian McManus and Tom Ingram ends up in 10th. Rob Barwell, Craig Breen, Evan Walsh, Shane Rabbit, Tony Stack, Adam Dowling. Then Peter McCann in 17th and Paul King in 18th. And we'll see who's going to be on reverse grid pole. It's going to be Niall Murray, Navid Hussain, and Alex Denning will be on the reverse grid pole next to Navid Hussain. So Alex Denning very nearly took a podium in Brands Hatch, but ends up getting taken out on the last lap. So we'll see what he can do. Rod McGovern, Olivier Van Herk, Ronan Haderman, Keith Rabbit, Max Turley, and then Wayne Douglas, Jack Burns. So the field very, very close together. Sergio Graven, Dermot Toomey, Paulo Breme, Carl Hardy, David Budres, Pat Masterson, Damien McMullen, Roger Morton, Nathan Healy, Dale Bennison, 52 seconds off the lead, and then Dave Collier, David Ayres, Arya Simantis, Owen Murray, Kieran Ewis, Aaron Kerry, Rob Moore, Simon Ramsire. Unfortunately for him, it looks like a DNF, and out as well for Rob Moore. But yeah, pretty crazy stuff, and I guess we always like a bit of controversy in this, don't we, Sam?
Absolutely. Absolutely wouldn't be motorsports without it, and it's great to see these rivalries as well between these drivers forming up across the season. And that's the unique thing with league racing compared to official racing. Anyone who's done much experience on iRacing, raced a few races in the official stage, don't tend to really race against the same guys in the same week. Whereas, of course, in a series like this, these guys properly know one another well. And so to say, if one driver pushes another in one race, I think they might get the favour returned to them in the next. So will be great to see how this feature works out. 21 reverse drivers, and certainly with the equal pace that we saw from race 1, I think a few of those drivers who finished near that 21st position I think they're going to have a decent chance for this race to hang on to that lead all the way through.
Yeah, well, we saw Keith Dempsey has managed every single week from the reverse grid pole to manage to get himself back to a podium just by keeping himself out of the incidents. So we'll see what he can do. But I was just looking in the iRacing chat at the time, and it looks like, didn't see the incident, but it looks like Alex Denning is really not happy with Johnny Adams. So maybe that could have been how he ended up so far down. But we'll see in due course. But either way, Alex Denning will be on pole position for this reverse grid race, and Keith Dempsey will be 21st on the grid. So here's your reverse grid then: Alex Denning, Naveed Hussain, Niall Murray and Paul King. Then it's Peter McCann and Adam Dowling, Tony Stack, Shane Rabbit, Evan Walsh and Craig Breen in 9th and 10th. Watch out for those guys, they'll be really quick. Robert Barble in 11th, Tom Ingram, watch for 12th place as well, he'll be pretty quick looking to recover. Brian McManus, Johnny Adam, Jordan Kelly, Dan Harper with the red mist in his eyes, I think, Peter Dempsey, Oisin Walsh, Adrian Camfield, then James Holman and Keith Dempsey down the 20th and 21st. Then Keith Rabbit, Max Turley, Wayne Douglas, Jack Byrne, Sergio Grabman, Dermot Toomey, Paulo Breme, Carl Hardy, David Budrys, Pat Masters and Demi McMullen, and Roger Morton as we look down the grid, 36th. And then it's Nathan Healy, Dale Bennison, Dave Collier, David Ayres, Ari Simantis, Owen Murray, Kieran Lewis, Aaron Kerry, Rob Moore, and at the very back of the grid in 46th place is Simon Ramsire in number 99. But it is Alex Denning, Naveed Hussain starting on the front row of the grid, and we're about to go green then for the 4th feature race of the season. The 5 red lights illuminate in front of the drivers. Who's going to get this one? It's lights out and away we go. Great start, Alex Denning, and he immediately comes across Naveed Hussain. Good start, Niall Murray from the second row as well. Naveed Hussain looks to the outside line of turn 1. He's got a better second phase to start. Up the inside goes Paul King to take 3rd place from Niall Murray. So Paul King up to 3rd. Peter McCann looking already to try and take 4th place away as well. But great start, Alex Denning, as they run down towards Magnuson Beck. Looks all clean, a little bit of side by side there. Peter McCann versus Adam Dowling trying to make their way through in the VR racing cars. Naveed Hussain up the inside, there's contact made. A little bit of contact, Paul King into the side of Niall Murray as they run through Magnuson Beckett's. And who's going to come out on top of this one? Naveed Hussain takes the lead momentarily as he goes side by side with Alex Denning. The cars are all strung out, 3 abreast as they run down towards Brooklands. Naveed Hussain on the outside, Alex Denning on the inside. Adam Dowling looking on the outside of Paul King. Niall Murray down to 5th. So Niall Murray trying to come back up the inside of Adam Dowling. But Alex Denning retakes that lead, holds on versus Naveed Hussain. They manage to file through. There's a little bit more contact, and that's Niall Murray getting almost turned around by one of the VR racing cars there. They all try to figure themselves out. Absolute craziness on lap 1 right here. Sam Fitzpatrick, unbelievable.
Absolutely. Shame for Niall Murray, actually, really gained 20 odd places in race 1, so really earned that top place for this grid, but hasn't worked for him. Denning still defending against Hussain. Great driving from the top team to keep control of their car through turn 3 on that last lap, as a lot of drivers are spreading either way through Cops Corner and still got 3 wide far down the order. And on the as wide goes Hussain. I think he's going to give up the lead. Oh, that's miles off the track, and it's going to be slippery on the grass as well. And that gives the lead to Alex Denning. Really didn't have to work too hard for it in the end. Peter McCann up into 2nd place from 5th on the grid. Where are the drivers from race 1 up to? Keith Dempsey's up 5 places. He's up into 17th, I'm seeing at the moment. So decent start for him as Hussain has got back into 2nd position then. Good driving from him and King. Oh, loads of contacts right now. And I think that's Tony Stack who was on his inside, or maybe even Dowling, and he's lost out majorly.
Yeah, the guys are trying to file their way through, trying to make sure that they make their presence known. That's Tony Stack. I think he's about to get overtaken by Craig Breen here, who's up the inside, and he is through. So Craig Breen, remember, he did quite well in the reverse grid last week. Shane Rabbit follows him through as they all file through, and there goes he's not wasting any time as Craig Breen. He goes through on the outside of his VR Racing teammate, and Craig Breen up to 5th place now, and Shane Rabbit trying to follow him through. There's a little bit of contact as gets sideways, does Adam Dowling. Evan Walsh trying to get up there as well, so they're nearly 3 abreast as they file through. But crucially, Peter Dempsey 12th, Keith Dempsey 13th, Dan Harper is 15th. So they're making good progress in this early part out of this 15-lap race that we got going here. A move there from Jordan Kelly looking at the inside of Adam Dowling through Brooklands, and a bit of side-by-side action between Niall Murray and Tony Stack in the back as well. So that is going to be Niall Murray making up a position. Peter Dempsey's right there as well. Johnny Adams on the back of him as well. They're nose to tail. The entire field is still together here. And just in the back of shot there is Keith Dempsey with the yellow nose on his car as they follow through. Keith Dempsey on the back of Johnny Adam. He's trying to get up the follow Tony Stack through Copse Corner here, on board with Keith Dempsey. He started 21st on the grid. He's 14th now. And he's trying to find some space to go through here. Tony Stack goes wide, now follows through Johnny Adam, trying to find space. There's just nowhere to go.
No, he had a good run, didn't he? But there was nowhere to go. Just positions his car on the inside. Chances are that will be the better line. And well, today is the lottery, because that was a much better line from the driver ahead. Here comes Harper though, just behind. He's got an even better run on Dempsey and might have a go himself. I feel bad for Stack at the moment. He's just getting completely swamped by all these T3 drivers making their way past. Fast enough for the race, by the way, was Dan Harper on that last time round. Oh, as off the circuit is Adam. And also Kelly as well. He was one of the front runners from race 1. VRA driver drops outside the top 30, I think, even there. Still, well, there's kind of this divide between 7th and 8th at the moment. You can just see a gap, if you can possibly call it that, between these drivers. And now, next up from the T3 overtakes is Adam Dowling, who's already dropped 2 places, and I think he's going to lose a couple more right now as well. As Keith Dempsey and Dan Harper are on his tail. Oh no, Dempsey's round!
Oh, no!
Dempsey is round, Keith Dempsey, and it looks as though... Oh, sorry, that's Peter Dempsey. Oh, gee.
Peter Dempsey and Adam Dowling come to blows. Keith Dempsey and Dan Harper do make it through unscathed, but there was contact between them as they came into that corner, and that's ended in tears for Peter Dempsey and for Adam Dowling. Done a lot of damage on that car. He's trying to rejoin. There's just nowhere to rejoin. We look at it here again and just trying to see. Just got loose. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It just looked like Peter got loose, and unfortunately Adam Dowling and then just got careened into by another one of the T3 cars. Got going again, but bit unfortunate there. I think it's a bit of a racing incident there.
I think he basically got quarter panelled mid-corner, where I think Dempsey was or maybe Dowling was quite deep on the brakes, and Dempsey just didn't leave a whole lot of room on the inside. Expected his rivals to be a bit tighter, made contact, and they both lost massively out of that. It's surprising that we don't see that incident more, because it's so easy to see in these touring cars with so many drivers and such aggressive driving as well. So Walsh is up into 6th place, and it's kind of spread out the field in that chasing pack. Out in the lead though, it's really close. Denning and King has got past Hussein, or has he? They are going side by side for 2nd place. Oh, massive size for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. That was Craig Green just behind, setting the pass after the race on that last time round, and Hussein does hold on to the lead. And shockingly, Denning still doesn't have a big gap. He's still well within draft range. I thought that may have been his big break, but despite a bit of contact, Hussein still right on his tail.
Yeah, Alex Denning still holding on to this, but Craig Breen is lighting up the timing space. Peter McCann with the personal best, but it's the fastest lap for Dan Harper down in 10th place as we're on lap 7 of 15. We're approaching the halfway mark. Still don't really know who's going to win this one. Alex Denning out in the lead, currently controlling the pace. Naveed Hussain 2nd, Paul King 3rd, Craig Breen. He's been in this position before, and he's drove through, and he led most of the race last week and got taken out in the last corner. So we'll see what happens, and it's a little bit of a mistake from Alex Denning, it looked like, through there, as now Naveed Hussain drafts him down the straight, and you can see him just going left to right, just a little bit changing his line. Is Naveed Hussain going to take the lead? He moves to the outside line of Brooklands. He's going to be able to sweep all the way around the outside. He's trying to, and I think he's just going to run out of room. He tries and finds the traction, not quite on now, and that's Paul King getting sent around by Craig Breen. And it was such a good race from Paul King, in only his 2nd race in Digital Motorsports, running in the podium, just got sent around there by Craig Breen with a little bit of contact in the rear. That's so unfortunate for him. Completely innocent, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Just a small tap, and usually that would unsettle the car too much, but on that occasion, King losing adhesion to the track and spinning round, drops down to 16th place. Massive shame for King, who had a legit chance that perhaps he could win the race. Certainly a podium was within sight for him. That means that Keith Dempsey is up 14 places. He's really the only of the front runners up in the top 10, the front runners from race 1, that is. And he's still got a very clean car as well. He is looking strong. He's only 3 seconds off the lead, and we're halfway through this race now. And with the leaders constantly battling, losing each other time, there is opportunity for that T3 driver to get back to the front. Hussein again defending into Luffields. Oh, big slide for the driver ahead of Keith. That was Shane Rabbit, who will stay alongside. Inside line almost always better through here. However, the driver on the outside does usually get a better run out. And a tight exit a bit there for Rabbit, who does have the shorter line through Woodcut. Let's see if he keeps his nose in going into Cops.
Yeah, so this is exactly what Keith does best, just drive through the carnage, and he has to hold back behind Shane, not trying anything stupid there. But Craig Breen, the fastest out of the top three, but all this is just allowing Keith, and again, Dan Harper, he's still there, don't forget. So here comes now Keith again on the outside of Shane Rabbit. He's going to be a really hard man to pass, Shane Rabbit. So here we go, he hugs that inside line, takes the karting line, but Keith just getting up underneath him here. But watch out for Dan Harper. You can see that, and again, the top five in this complete slipstream train here. Keith back to the outside, but he's got to watch out for Dan Harper. Also with Sheen Walsh, don't forget. We've kind of got to glanced over him a bit, but he is there. So your front runners are all together on track, all stacked up behind Shane Rabbit, who is really holding Keith up now. He really wants to get past it. That's allowed Dan Harper to get right back in the action here.
Yeah, I thought that Dempsey was going to be passed at this point on the last lap. And yet he couldn't get done into Cops, could he? And now he's still staying behind Rabbit. Well, I don't know what Rabbit is necessarily really hoping from this race, whether he does want to win or whether he just wants to keep Dempsey behind. He's doing the latter. Very impressively at the moment.
Oh,
Dempsey,
lovely.
great cutback. That was great timing there. No contact behind, and that was really unnecessary there from Harper. Just a bit too aggressive, carrying too much speed through. And made contact. Is there going to be more contact here? A little bit of a... Well, I think he did just about be able to avoid the bump there, did Harper. Now he's the one losing time as out in the lead. Denning's under more pressure now than Hussein. And I think he's been for the past few laps. And I think Hussein sideways with him. And round the outside, he goes much better on the brakes. Should have the inside for Luffields if he can keep part of his car alongside, but he can't do. And Denning is defending great at the moment, and just behind McCann, dropping down into 5th place. I think he was as high as 3rd just a minute ago, but running wide the Luffields, and he's back down into 5th. That's a tricky position there now behind his team.
This is going to be... There's 5 laps to go in this race, and we don't know who's going to... Alex Denning, Naveed Hussain, Craig Breen, Evan Walsh and Peter McCann are your top 5. None of these guys have got a win this season. Keith Dempsey has got multiple wins to his name, and he's almost on the back of them. There he is. Dan Harper, no wins to his name in this championship. We really don't know who's going to win. It's going to be a fantastic ending to this race. Alex Denning, Naveed Hussain, Craig Breen. Now we go back to the slipstream down towards Brooklands. They've been nose to tail for 11 laps already. Here we go. We're on board with Craig Breen in the Fiora racing car. Here we go. Is he going to mount any sort of move? Denning defends the inside. Is he going to find space? Naveed Hussain trying to go around the outside again. He's tried this earlier, but I think he's just going to run out of room. Craig Breen's now up the inside. Naveed Hussain is still there. Craig leaves him the room, and he cuts back inside. Now they hold on for now. Now 4 laps to go, which means 4 minutes of racing left in this race. Alex Denning, Naveed Hussain, Craig Breen, Evan Walsh, Peter McCann, and Keith Dempsey are your top 5, and they're all within a second and a half of each other as we cross the line to start lap 12 of 15. Naveed Hussain trying to hold on. Craig Breen now trying to find the space. Naveed Hussain's found the space on the outside. There's going to be a little bit of contact there on the way out, and Hussain is on the outside. He's found the space on the way out of Cops Corner and down towards Maggots and Beckett's again. Hussain on the outside. He's tried this before. Is he going to run wide? No, he doesn't. Craig Breen's found the space on the both of them. Up the inside, double overtake. Craig Breen. Oh, there's contact. No! They all take each other out. Craig Breen's around. Evan Walsh leads. Keith Dempsey second. Alex Denning in third. It's all gone wrong immediately for all those guys after such a brilliant battle.
Absolutely incredible. It went 2 wide, it went 3 wide, and just understaying to the outside of the circuit, and all 3 of them got wiped out. So Walsh is into the lead. Dempsey, well, just everything seems to have gone his way in this race. He's barely got a scratch from that car still, and you certainly back him now to take this race victory. Harper is nearly onto these guys as well, and there's a massive chasing pack. So Walsh will just try to defend as long as possible. There's Dempsey. Oh, it's hit the inside wall. There was no space there, mate. There's a concrete wall. You can't drive through that. And as he gets the cutback, this is looking very good now for T3. And he does get down the inside. Does Keith Dempsey, and he's up into the lead for the first time in this race too. But coming back almost was Walsh. Now the slipstream effect is decently powerful in these cars. And let's see if Walsh can perhaps get back at his rival. As long as he's within about half a second of his rival's pace, he should be able to stay in the slipstream. As are we going to see him move down at the back of this back straight? Not quite. 3 wide behind as well. That was a Walsh trying to defend from McManus and Denning, I believe. All the front guys all of a sudden, right at the front guys from race 1, all of a sudden right at the front of this race too.
Evan Walsh, he hasn't even got a podium in this series, and he's fighting for the win now, but I think he's just slipping away from him slightly, as Keith Dempsey from 21st on the grid has now taken the lead once again. And here we go, lap 14 of 15. It's Dempsey from Evan Walsh. Dan Harper is back to 3rd place now. Oisin Walsh is 4th. Brian McManus is into 5th place. Alex Denning down to 6th after the contact. Shane Rabbit is 7th. Peter McCann is 8th. Johnny Adam and Naveed Hussain down to 10th after that little accident earlier. Evan, he really wants this. Evan, I know, is going to be wanting this win so badly in this one as we've got with 2 laps to go. Can he do something, anything, to take this lead away from Keith Dempsey, as the white flag will wave next time by? He's got Dan Harper behind him, Keith Dempsey in front of him, the championship leader, and now that Harper's looking up the inside a little bit there, there's almost contact, but there isn't. The white flag is going to wave next time by. Hold on there, Shane Rabbit's wide in the background, and Harper's up the inside. He's found the switch, he moves Evan Walsh out of, and that's just ruined his chances of the win right there. Dan Harper goes through to 2nd with a robust move on Evan Walsh, and that might cost him a podium as well, as Oisin Walsh closes in. And we now start the final lap. Keith Dempsey, Dan Harper and Evan Walsh 3rd, and with the other Walsh of Oisin Walsh behind him, and just a complete robust move from Dan Harper there up the inside, and Evan's going to be good with that one, I think.
He really will be. And Harper now with a 6/10 of a second gap to the race leader. This is where Walsh is really good. He takes a much tighter line into this corner. This time he drives it in too deep, and now looks like his Walsh is going to go past him instead, side by side between these two, and should be a better run for Oisin. I think he's still making contact all the way down the back straight. Neither of them wants to give an inch, but out in the lead it looks pretty inevitable who's going to take another race victory. It's going to be a double.
Keith Dempsey, unbelievable drive, 21st, and again Evan Walsh gets moved out of the way. Oisin Walsh up the inside. They're going to be side by side of the line between the two of them. Keith Dempsey, once again, his 3rd feature race win. He wins in Silverstone. Dan Harper in 2nd, and Oisin Walsh is just going to pip Evan Walsh for the podium. Brian McManus, oh, there's contact across the line. Brian McManus, Alex Denning, Peter McCann, Shane Rabbit, Johnny Adam, and that was Alex Denning who got turned around there across the line. Johnny Adam, Naveed Hussain, Peter Dempsey finishes 11th, Tony Stack in 12th, Jordan Kelly, Rob Barble, Adrian Campfield, Olivier Van Her, Craig Breen down in 17th, Owen Murray, Sergey Graham, Keith Rabbit, then Carl Hardy, Diarmuid Toomey, Simon Ramsar and Wayne Douglas. But I mean, I did mention it earlier, Keith Dempsey, once he keeps himself out of the instance, he is just completely unbeatable.
Yep, that was great driving through the field. It was what we didn't see, I think, at the start of the race, where he got himself up into the top 12 positions or so. That was where the race was made for him. It gave him enough time to get the moves done ahead of him. Shame that we saw that 3-way battle at the front end, because I think it would have been tough for Dempsey to pass all of those drivers. They would have all had a chance at the win, but Dempsey kept it clean, and barely any incidents whatsoever for him out there. So really impressive, and a well-deserved double. He's been pretty strong in the championship after this.
Yeah, it looks like, I think we'll have to find out afterwards, but he could have potentially just wrapped it up right there, but we'll have to find out, because he had a 70-point gap coming in. Here is your feature race result after an absolutely mental finish. Keith Dempsey finishes ahead of Dan Harper, who gets his first podium, a bit of redemption from race 1. Oisin Walsh gets his first feature race podium as well, just pipping Evan by 0.05 of a second across the line. Evan's going to be gutted with that one. Brian McManus finishes 5th. Peter McCann with a fantastic top 10 finish. He finishes 6th by a couple of hundreds again ahead of Shane and Rabbit. Johnny Adam in 8th. Naveed Hussain, after battling for the lead, finishes 9th. Peter Dempsey 10th. Tony Stack 11th. Jordan Kelly, Rob Barble, Adrian Campfield, Olivier Van Herk. Then Craig Breen, after getting sent around in that lead battle, he finishes 16th. Owen Murray 17th. Then Sergio Grabin in 18th. Then further down, it's Keith Rabbit, Carl Hardy, Diarmuid Toomey, Simon Ramsar. Then Wayne Douglas, Paul King, who we saw battling for the lead as well, getting sent around by Craig Breen in Luffield. Bit unfortunate for him. Ronan Hederman. Then Rob Moore, Max Turley, Kieran Hughes, haven't seen much of him, and he finishes 28th. And all these guys really close. And then we have Dave Collier, Adam Dowling in the lead battle earlier as well. Pat Masterson, Nathan Healy, Dale Bennison, Arias Imantas, David Ayers, Aaron Kerry, Dave Budgers, and Alex Denning, after holding the lead for the majority of this race, finishes 38th, and he will be absolutely, it just has not gone his way this season. Almost got a podium in Brands Hatch, nearly got the win this week, and just not to be for Alex Denning, and he finishes 38th. Damien McMullen 39th. James Holman will be classified as 14th. This is a terrible run. He was second in the heat race one. Don't forget, Rob McGovern, Jack Byrne, Roger Morton, Niall Murray, Paul Brame, and a non-finish, it looks like, for the BTCC driver Tom Ingram, who had a decent run in heat race one, but not to be for him this week. So Keith Dempsey, I mean, what do you say about that man? Just unbelievable driving. Drives from 21st to the lead, and of course we're heading to Snetterton next week, so we might see if he can wrap up the title. But yeah, Sam, it just looks like keeping yourself out of incidents is just the key to this whole championship.
Absolutely. I think Keith is quite inexperienced as well to iRacing, so it's impressive that he's been able to kind of learn that trick, which takes most drivers years and years, and even they don't perfect it, whereas Keith really got it down to a T, which is really impressive. Snetterton next time out, 20 miles away from my house in the best county in the country, Norfolk, that is. So going to be great to visit there, and I wouldn't put it past him. Taking another double.
Yeah, well, how about we hear from the man himself? So we've got a couple of drivers for the interviews. We're going to grab our double race winner, Keith Dempsey, into the comms box. Keith, sorry for dragging out mid-conversation there. Welcome to the commentary box once again. A double win this week once again. You must be really pleased with that one.
Yeah, another good week. Didn't expect the second race there. First lap didn't really go to plan. I didn't gain any positions at all. So I was just patient and took me time, but I got it. Like, I can't say it, otherwise I got very lucky in that one. The lads had a bit of a coming together coming out of onto the back straight, and I just kind of, all the gates opened up and I came sailing on through. So yeah, 2 good races again. So happy days.
Yeah, do talk to us about that second race, because starting from 21st on the grid, it's always really tough, especially around a national circuit like this. So obviously, keeping yourself out of the instance, keeping the nose clean was obviously very key to that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like there's only really kind of 4 corners around this track and kind of one left-hander. So the first few laps on into the complexes, it's actually really difficult in these cars trying to keep it stable, so you're not spinning and sideways into people and stuff like that. So I was kind of took my time through there, but first lap wasn't great at all. I was disappointed with it, to be honest. I got a decent start, but just couldn't find any gaps, so I just picked my way through them, and then I kind of got up to kind of 6th or 7th, and I could see the gaggle of them up front, and Alex Denning and Craig Green and stuff up the front dicing, so I was kind of happy to see them dicing. It was kind of means they weren't pulling away or getting away, so I could catch up. And then just as I kind of got up to the back end of the group, I passed the whoever was at the back of the group, and then just came onto the back straight, and they all went kind of exit stage left. So I don't know if someone called the pace notes wrong for the lads or what the crack was, but I was alright.
Yeah, good stuff. So obviously, last round of the championship next week, Snetterton, I think it is. Are you confident going into that one? And, obviously, you've got a big championship gap now, so you're already thinking you can claim the title next week?
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah, it's a pity Jason couldn't make it tonight. He was closest in the championship, but he had kind of a conflict in his schedule, so it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of it was it's good racing against Jason, and he's kind of been kind of the man to beat in the TCRs. But I've done well so far this season. Good to have a few BTCC drivers in here as well this week. So yeah, no, it's good quality of field there. So it's nice to be able to at least put it up to them.
Yeah, good stuff. Actually, we saw that Tom Ingram was in the race. Did you have any dicing with him? How do you think he did for his...
I was actually nowhere near him. I didn't even get to see what he's like. So yeah, the first race with Dan was good as well. Like with Dan had a great race in the first race. We kind of stepped behind him for the first 5-6 laps, and then again I could see the lads coming in behind us, and I made a move, and kind of it's tough to pull away around here because of the toe was so strong. So I made a move expecting it to kind of turn into a bit of a dogfight, but then I made the move, and he got close on the first lap after I passed him. But then after that, I think himself and James kind of started dicing and gave me a bit of a gap. So at that point, then I knew I was just keep clean, and I was happy enough with that. So yeah, no, it was good. It was a good result for the team of guys there. So we're all happy enough.
Good stuff. I'll pass you along to Sam, see if he's got anything for you.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Keith, I mean, how's it racing against your teammates? There's so many of you at the front of race 1 in particular. Like, do you kind of treat them any differently when you're racing, or how tricky is it around them?
No, treat them all like shit is the best way to go. Just drive clean into them all. That's what I normally do. So no, it's actually really good. We're obviously all on the Discord together, so we kind of talk to each other. Dan wasn't in with us today, but racing against someone like Dan, it's always going to be pretty clean and fair, and he's just been very unlucky in this league. So we do like to beat each other, but we try to do it as cleanly as we can. Doesn't always work, but we try our best.
Well, you certainly put on a fantastic show today. Keith, congratulations with the race wins. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
No, again, just like to thanks to everyone in Digital Motorsport for all their hard work and effort they put in, and the Turn 3 lads, and sure, I better say thanks to my wife Joanne as well for letting me race tonight as well. She'll be giving out to me later on, but yeah, thanks for it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Keith, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, lads. Fair play to you.
Thanks, Keith. So we shall now grab, if we can, second place man Dan Harper, who gets his first podium this week. Dan, sorry if we dragged you out mid-conversation there, but not a great race one, but a much better feature race. Your first podium must be really...
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now, yeah.
Okay, sorry, could you just repeat what you said?
Yeah, no problem. So obviously not a great race one, but a much better feature race. Gets her first podium, second place. Must be really happy with that one.
Yeah, it was a lot better. I've had a good pace since starting the series. I've been practicing a lot with Keith and those guys and having good fun. And we've just had a bit of bad luck in the races with contact and lap traffic as well. So it's nice to get on the podium and get to speak to you guys. And it's a great series, obviously in these tough times for everybody. So it's a great idea to hold these events, and I'm just happy to be here and having fun.
Yeah, it was okay. Just to go back to race one as well. Can we talk about that incident between yourself and James Holman? Because obviously they were fighting for a podium there, but obviously you weren't too happy with the move he tried to make.
Yeah, I was not happy with that one. I was just a bit heated, and I was happy I was in pole, and obviously Keith had got past me and started to pull away. So I was just determined to try and hold on to second, and I was defending into Brooklyn. We got contact from behind and sent me into a slide, and I lost a few places. So I still finished P6 I think in a race, so it's not that bad, but yeah, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, so obviously last round of the championship next week. We're heading to Snetterton. Would you be familiar with the circuit as well? Are you confident going into it? Think you have the pace to maybe go one better, get the win?
I hope so. It's obviously going to be tough work beating Keith again. He's been dominant really the whole series, and I can't imagine it'll be any different at Snetterton. But for sure, I'm familiar with the track. I raced there twice in Ginetta Juniors, and then once in my first year in Porsche Carrera Cup. So I know the circuit very well, and I like it. I had a few wins there actually through my 3 years of racing there. So fingers crossed I can replicate it in the TCR.
Brilliant stuff. I'll pass you on to Sam then.
Yeah, kind of what changes are you making at the moment, Dan, to the car each round? Do you kind of just stay with the same setup for all of these circuits, or are there just a couple of changes that you make to really optimize it for each circuit?
So for this series, it's a fixed setup from the Digital Motorsport. So it's the same setup for everybody. I'm not honestly sure if they change it a little bit for each circuit, but basically whenever we join the session, it's fixed, and we can only change brake bias. So obviously during the practice sessions, you have to fiddle around with that and make sure you get it to where you're comfortable. And it's just a really difficult car to drive. It's front wheel drive, which I'm not used to either. So getting used to that and trying to get the power down is the biggest issue. So being patient and just waiting for the times to come is the big thing.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, Dan, on your results today. Before we say goodbye, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Not really, to be honest. Just to the guys that organise it, the event, and my mum sitting in the kitchen. I'm sure she's watching.
Good shout there. Good shout. Thanks for having a chat with us, Dan, and best of luck for next week.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
So that was Dan Harper, and not elaborating too much on the James Holman incident, but I'm sure there'll probably be a little bit of a look into that one. But yeah, really good result for him nonetheless. So finally, we will get our third place man in his first podium in the championship. We're going to grab Oisin Walsh. Oisin, welcome to the commentary box. Your first podium in the series. You must be over the moon with that one.
Yeah, it's a lot better than last week where I ended up just DNF in both races. And after coming from like 20th in the grid, I won't complain about it.
It's obviously the lead battle in the feature race was obviously really, really intense. Keeping your nose out of the instance was obviously key to getting yourself back up to the front.
Yeah, I'm not really used to these cars. More used to open wheel, so I wasn't used to all the contact. I don't think I was really aggressive enough in the first race. Obviously, I ended up moving Evan Walsh out of the way to get third in the end. But yeah, I was just trying to follow guys like Keith, Peter, and Daniel through because I knew, I kind of thought they'd be better at me, racecraft-wise at least. So I was just going to follow them through and then try my best to avoid any crashes and just kind of hang back and not lose too many spots and just take it slow. I didn't think I'd end up third. I kind of thought it'd be somewhere in the top 10, but yeah, I think I got lucky with a few people having few incidents further up.
So you just mentioned there you're more used to driving single series. So what's been the biggest thing you've had to get used to driving them versus a TCR car?
Well, obviously the front wheel drive and the brakes feel a lot different. The way that kind of wiggles around on the brakes, I quite like it. I'd be better in this car than I would do in any other kind of tin top GT car or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know. I think I've adapted relatively well. I kind of like the way it wiggles around on the brakes, and if you get spun out, you just floor it. It'll catch itself. And then I had to do that at one point in the second race, or in the first race. I almost got spun out, just floored it. I caught it. It's okay, on I go.
Yeah, obviously we're heading to Snetterton next week. So are you confident heading to that one? Do you think you can go a little bit one better, potentially going for a win if the luck goes your way?
I don't own Snetterton and iRacing, so I'll have to buy it. I've driven it another set. I know the track, and that's about it. I don't know. I have no clue how quick I'll be. So hopefully I can do better. Hopefully I'll be as quick as here in Olton, but only one way to find out.
Good stuff. I'll pass you on to Sam. So
Yeah, I saw that you got one of the fewest amount of incidents in the entire field in that race too. Ocean. I mean, was that like a deliberate plan from you? Just keep it on the black stuff, or what? Because we saw a lot of gyros track extending to get as much pace as possible.
No, I was pretty scared of getting the off track on the exit of cops, or not the off track, the slowdown. If you go too far from the off track, which it kind of lets me being a bit more cautious than 5 incident. I didn't think I'd get that little. Yeah, I don't know. That wasn't intentional. I was just instinctively kind of cautious about it. I think after qualifying, obviously I couldn't get it, otherwise the lap wouldn't count. But yeah, I didn't want the slowdown, and I wanted to have incidents left at the end, so that if I did need to track extend a little bit, maybe get a run on someone, I could still do it. And then I was afraid of getting a few 4Xs too, which I'm kind of surprised with some of the contact I had I didn't get. But yeah, I guess that's just me not being used to how the car works.
And once this season is over, of course, only one more meeting. You reckon you're going to do a little bit more TCR running, or do you think you're going to stick to other disciplines?
I don't know. I do quite like the car, but I might race it a bit in the official stuff like that. I've got exams coming up, so really, this is pretty much the only racing I'm doing at the moment. Just every Wednesday I'll do this and then leave it and try and get work done the rest of the week. So we'll see come summer and next year. But with lockdown at the moment, I do have a lot more time. So yeah, I might do some official racing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us. I mean, is there anyone you'd like to thank before we say goodbye?
Not really. I don't have a team or anything, so I guess just Niall and everyone who runs the league, and then you guys for the broadcast. It's all really good quality.
Awesome. Thank you very much, and best of luck for next week.
All right, thanks.
Oh, brilliant. always nice to have the really hard to pronounce Irish names in the
Yes.
commentary box. Yeah, you made a good attempt. I'll give you that one. So yeah, we're heading to Snetterton next week. I believe it's the 300 layout. I hope I'm not quoted on that one. But again, it's a very, very different circuit to what we had today. I don't think we're going to see the slipstream effect to quite the same extent that we did.
No, I don't think it'll be quite as extreme. I mean, hopefully we're on the 200 layout. I really like that, but no, the 300 layout, quite tight, twisty, isn't it, around that part of the track? And anyone who's been to Norfolk knows that it is dead flat. There's not a hill in sight, so no issues on that front. So kind of similar to Silverstone in that regard, but not as long radius corners. A lot kind of tighter, quicker corners than here at Silverstone. So no, should be a good challenge for the drivers, and a circuit that really a lot of them aren't going to be very familiar with. The TCR and Porsche GC4 Championship, the Inter Pilot Challenge was actually at Snetterton the other week, so anyone who's raced in official series may have a little bit of an upper hand, I think, when we head there next week.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously Keith Dempsey with a massive lead in the championship now. I don't think anybody's going to be able to get close to him now, but we'll have a look at the standings afterwards. But he could have potentially just clinched it here today. We just don't know. But he's 70 points clear, and he's going to be a ways out in front with a double race win again. And but Sam, I'm going to put you on the spot here now. Who was your driver of the day for today?
Well, I can't go Dempsey, can I? Because that's a little bit too obvious. I think Harper was pretty great, because Harper was really unlucky, wasn't he, in race 1? Could have definitely have won. Had a few laps led, of course, and actually in race 2 he was quite a bit behind Keith Dempsey at one point, but actually managed to come back really strong at the end of the race, and he'll of course say one more lap and he would have been able to take the race win. So no, I think Harper was absolutely superb today.
Yeah, and there you go, Harper. And I think I'd actually outside maybe have a think about. I actually think Evan Walsh did an amazing job to get himself up to the podium slots, even if he did get muscled out of the way a little bit in the last corner. I think it's the closest he's gotten to a win so far. So between Evan Walsh and the other Walsh of Usheen Walsh, I think he drove brilliantly today, considering he had a really he was one of the unlucky ones last week in Upton Park as well. He just ended up in the barrier DNFing, but he did a really great job, did Usheen, this week. So yeah, so I think I'd probably have to give it to Usheen just by a pinch. So we head to Snetterton next week, and it'll be at the exact same time as you all saw today, 8 p.m. British time. So it's sad to be coming to the close. It's just a brilliant championship, and unfortunately we didn't have Jason Cooper here today to put up the fight to Keith Dempsey in the championship. But even Keith was a little bit annoyed that Jason wasn't here, as they're not quite going to have the championship battle that we really hope for. But yeah, I think unfortunately then we're going to have to round out the broadcast here, and obviously I do actually want to send out a quick get well soon message to Niall. He's not feeling very well at the moment. He's working really hard behind the scenes to get to organize the race. So he's doing an amazing job behind the scenes with all the work that he does. So get well soon, Niall. We're sending you best wishes here. But yeah, that does it from us here at Apex Racing TV and on the iRacing Esports Network, the Digital Motorsports TCR Cup Round 4 from Silverstone National. Many thanks to Sam Fitzpatrick for joining me in the commentary box. Thanks to Sam Lee for working hard on the cameras, as always. And we will see you at the same time next week for the final round of the Digital Motorsports TCR Cup live from Snetterton. We hope you'll join us then, and we will see you all next week at the same time. Thank you, and good night.